the full history Yemen. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to talk about the full history of Yemen, so make sure to watch the video till the end to know more about it. Also, please like the video and subscribe for more such interesting videos. And without any further ado, let's get started. Ancient history. The earliest human fossils discovered in Yemen date back to between 125,000 and 30,000 years ago during the Stone Age. The Himyarite kingdom was one of the most important kingdoms in southern Arabia. It lasted from around 110 BC to 300 AD. Its capital was in the city of Zephyr. But in 110 BC, Himyar was conquered by the kingdom of Saba. Himyar then became a province of Saba. However, it soon gained independence again due to unrest within the Sabaean Empire. After the Himyarites, another powerful kingdom rose in Yemen, the Sabaean kingdom, which existed from roughly 700 BC to 300 BC. They were known for their mastery of incense trade and their advanced agricultural techniques. The ancient Egyptians kept a keen eye on the trading activities of Sabi, recognizing the importance of the region in controlling access to the lucrative incense trade. Islam comes to Yemen in 630 CE. Yemen became part of the Rashidun Caliphate, following the Muslim conquest of Persia. As Islam spread across the Arabian Peninsula, Yemen played a significant role in shaping early Islamic history. During the 7th century CE, the first mosque in Yemen, the Jami Mosque, was constructed. It stands out as the oldest mosque, not only in Yemen, but also in the entire Arabian Peninsula. Following the Muslim conquest of Mecca in 630 CE, when the Prophet Muhammad entered Mecca, he declared that two cities were his property, Medina and Mecca. However, he mentioned that if the people of Yemen pledged allegiance to him, he would also declare Sana'a as his property. The Muslim conquest of Yemen took place in two phases. Initially, the Muslims who had accepted Islam under the leadership of the Prophet Muhammad set out to conquer Yemen. Upon reaching the outskirts of Sana'a, they encountered the Himyarite king at the gate named Al-Darji. Despite warnings from his advisors, the king decided to close the gate and defend the city. The Muslims besieged the city, compelling the king to seek refuge in the mountains. Soon, Yemen became Muslim, and the Jami Mosque was built. During the Umayyad period, Yemen faced administrative challenges due to its remoteness from the main centers of power. In 701, a governor named Al-Hajjaj bin Yusuf was sent to address these issues, and he is often seen as a symbol of centralizing authority. He established a new capital at Zabad and left the old capital at Sana'a. The Abbasid Revolution of 750 CE aimed to overthrow the ruling Umayyad dynasty and establish Abbasid control. A key figure in this movement was the Abbasid Caliph, who seized power in 750 CE. The revolution led to significant changes in the political landscape, including the transfer of the Abbasid Caliphate's capital from Damascus to Baghdad in 762 CE. During this period, Yemeni scholars made notable contributions to Islamic studies, with figures like Al-Hasan al-Marazi and Abu Ubaidah al-Marazi producing influential works on hadith. Moreover, the city of Zabid emerged as a hub for Islamic scholarship, attracting scholars from various regions. This intellectual activity contributed to Yemen's reputation as a center of Islamic learning. Following the fall of the Ayyubids, Yemen came under the rule of the Razla dynasty from 1229 to 1418. These rulers were initially governors appointed by the Ayyubids, but later achieved greater autonomy. Yemen regained its significance as an international trading hub connecting Africa, India, and China to Europe. The Rasalids implemented policies to promote agriculture and commerce, supported construction projects, and encouraged cultural exchanges. Their reign marked a period of stability and prosperity for Yemen. The Rasalid era witnessed the flourishing of trade, particularly in the port city of Mocha. The control of vital shipping routes enabled Yemen to benefit greatly from the transcontinental trade networks. Furthermore, internal peace and security measures undertaken by the Rasalids created a favorable environment for merchants and traders. This strategic location at the crossroads of international trade routes allowed Yemeni ports such as Hadada and Mocha to flourish as key hubs for merchants from Africa, India, China, Persia, and Europe. The Ottoman conquest in 1537. The Ottomans conquered Yemen and incorporated it into their empire. The Ottomans sought to expand their influence in Yemen due to its strategic location along important trade routes. By controlling Yemen, the Ottomans aimed to secure their access to the lucrative trade in African gold and other valuable commodities. They also wanted to counter Portuguese expansionism in the region. The Ottoman conquest brought about significant changes in Yemen's political and administrative structure. The Ottoman authorities introduced their system of governance, which included appointing local officials to collect taxes and maintain order. They also established a special court called the Hisan el-Jan in 1538. The Ottomans recognized the importance of trade and sought to revitalize commercial activities in Yemen. They granted trading monopolies to certain individuals or groups, which led to the establishment of guilds and trading companies. The focus on trade aimed to boost the economy and increase Ottoman revenue from Yemen. The arrival of the Ottomans also brought about shifts in religious practices and architecture. While Islam remained the dominant faith, Ottoman mosques, with their distinctive architectural style, began to appear in Yemen. The Turkish-Yemeni War in 1918, the war between Turkey and Britain known as the Turkish-Yemeni War, began. This conflict arose from opposing perspectives on the future of the Ottoman Empire after World War I. The British viewed the empire's collapse as an opportunity to expand their colonial possessions, while the Turks aimed to preserve their territorial integrity. The immediate trigger for the war was the British occupation of the Hijaz region in 1916, which the Turks considered a violation of Ottoman sovereignty. The war had its origins in the decline of the Ottoman Empire. As the empire weakened, various nationalist movements gained momentum. The British and French began to carve up the Middle East among themselves, disregarding Ottoman interests. The war resulted in significant loss of life and destruction in Yemen. British forces utilized advanced weaponry, including aircraft and armored vehicles, giving them an advantage over the Ottoman troops. Eventually, the Turkish-Yemen War ended with the complete withdrawal of Turkish forces from Yemen. The conflict had far-reaching consequences, marking the end of Ottoman rule in the region and leaving Yemen vulnerable to external influences, post-independence, and the Republican period. After the war, Yemen proclaimed its independence from the Ottoman Empire. In September 1928, the Mutawakkilite Kingdom was officially established, with Imam Yahya Muhammad as its first and last king. The new state adopted a constitution that combined elements of Islamic law and modern governance. During the reign of Imam Yahya, Yemen pursued a policy of isolationism, distancing itself from external conflicts and focusing on internal development. This approach aimed to protect Yemen's independence and prevent foreign interference. Yemen maintained neutrality during World War II, avoiding involvement in the conflict between the British and the Italians. The Republican period in 1962, Republican Revolution, led to the overthrow of the monarchy and the establishment of the Yemen Arab Republic. The revolution was driven by various factors, including discontent with the monarchy's policies, demands for political representation, and the influence of Republican ideas. The revolutionaries who sought to transform Yemen into a modern republic faced opposition from conservative forces who favored preserving the traditional monarchy. The conflict became known as the Yemeni Civil War. The war in Yemen had deep ideological dimensions, with the Republicans supported by Egypt and Syria. While the Royalists received support from neighboring kingdoms, the conflict caused immense suffering with widespread destruction and loss of life. The fighting continued until 1967, resulting in a military victory for the Royalists and the restoration of the monarchy. However, the war had profound consequences for Yemen's political landscape, weakening the monarchy and setting the stage for further instability and conflict. In 1970, Yemen experienced another revolution leading to the downfall of the monarchy and the establishment of the People's Democratic Republic of Yemen, commonly known as South Yemen. This revolution was influenced by Pan-Arabism and socialist ideology. The new government implemented socialist policies and nationalized industries. South Yemen became aligned with the Soviet Union and received support from its communist allies. The post-independence period in South Yemen saw efforts to transform the country along socialist lines. The government nationalized banks, farms, and businesses. In the late 1970s, South Yemen faced internal challenges as different political factions competed for power. These tensions culminated in the South Yemeni Civil War. Factions aligned with either the Pan-Arabist forces supporting President Abdul Fattah Ismail or those loyal to the former president Major General Sadiq al-Hassani. The conflict resulted in significant casualties and instability. Ultimately, a reconciliation agreement was reached in 1980, bringing an end to the civil war. Unification in 1990, the two Yemens, North and South, unified to form the Republic of Yemen. The unification process resulted in the creation of a single country, the Republic of Yemen, with Sana'a as its capital. This reunited Yemen after decades of division. However, challenges such as economic disparities, political tensions, and tribal rivalries continued to persist. Unification brought together two distinct regions with different political systems, economic conditions, and social structures. The North had been ruled as a monarchy, while the South had a socialist republic. The varying levels of development between the two regions created economic disparities and tensions. Moreover, pre-existing tribal rivalries and regional differences contributed to ongoing conflicts and instability in Yemen. Civil war and the rise of the Houthi in 2011. Mass protests erupted across Yemen, part of the broader Arab Spring uprisings. The demonstrations in Yemen were driven by demands for political reform, better living conditions, and an end to corruption. These protests eventually led to the resignation of President Ali Abdullah Saleh. A new constitution was adopted in 2012, establishing Yemen as a presidential republic. Abdrabbu Mansur Hadi became the president, following a national dialogue conference aimed at addressing grievances and reaching a political settlement. However, the peace proved to be short-lived. Conflict between the Yemeni government and the Iran-backed Houthi rebels escalated significantly in 2014. The Houthis, an armed group from the Zaydi Shia community, had long been involved in clashes with the Yemeni army. Backed by Iran, the Houthis launched a major offensive, capturing the capital Sana'a and forcing the government into exile. The Houthis sought to establish control over key areas, including strategic infrastructure and government institutions. They imposed their authority through various means, including military force and acts of intimidation. The escalating violence caused widespread displacement, humanitarian crisis, and regional instability. The conflict has drawn in regional and international powers, with Saudi Arabia leading a military coalition that intervened in support of the Yemeni government. The situation in Yemen remains complex and dire, with ongoing hostilities, humanitarian concerns, and limited prospects for a lasting peace agreement. We hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.